And by the way, how you pronounce your name properly?
Bam, live. That's a great question. No one can say my name except my mom.
Okay.
My name is Sevan.
So
Like the
okay, that's what I was gonna say too. All right, make sure.
but a lot of people call me Savan or Sevi or but it's Sevan, like the number 7, Sevan.
Okay. There you go.
Devonte Smith, Cleveland, Ohio, 7 a.m. in California. And what time is it where you're at?
8.
8 a.m.
Yep.
You're only 1 hour. Cleveland's only 1 hour ahead of California.
No, I'm in Colorado right now.
Oh, that's right. And that's where you go before your big fights.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that where you go before every fight?
Basically, yeah. Since 2018.
How come?
Um, the obviously the altitude is like a
Oh,
big help, like a real big help. And the people at Factory X, they have a lot of really elite fighters that like specialize in certain things, whether it's striking, grappling, or just having the overall IQ.
is it contentious at all or weird at all to tell your main train camp, hey, I'm going here right before the fight to do the final sharpening of the knife, or no? It's just normal for the business for
Oh no,
people to
it's
move around.
not. No, it's what I want to do.
No one gets their feelings hurt or whatever.
Nah, if they did, it'd be like, why your feelings hurt? That don't make no sense.
And I guess you go there and you get that knowledge and you bring it back to your hive, right? You're a bee, you fly to one hive, get some knowledge, and bring it back to your hive.
Exactly.
And vice versa. When you go there, they get glean more knowledge and skills off of you.
Yeah, when I come back from Cleveland, oh yeah, I'll be on a different level. So they be after me.
How many years have you been fighting, amateur and professional, since your first professional fight, amateur
Uh,
fight?
about 10, probably about to go on 11 years.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And you're how old?
Just turned 28.
And you fight in the 155 class, the lightweight.
Yes, sir.
I heard that guy ask in one of your interviews I was watching yesterday if you'd ever go up in weight. And it was interesting seeing Kevin Lee try to make that jump the other day. And anytime I see a fighter do that and I'm watching, I start to get like scared for them, right?
Mm. I can't. That they just be too big. Like I'm not afraid to fight big people because I've always fought bigger guys since I was little. But this is a business now, so I'm not about to like go up a weight class to get my head beat in. And I'm not about to drain my body to go a lower weight class. I'm gonna just go where I feel good, I feel confident, and I feel healthy.
Uh, if you're a 170-pound dude, that really means you're a 200-pound dude, though, right?
Right, right. And you about 6 foot on average, 6 foot and up. And it's like, and the majority of them, no, a lot of them can stand up, but the ones who want to wrestle and lay on you, and I ain't got time for all that.
Yeah. Did you see Manny's last fight? Pacquiao's last fight?
Who was it?
I can't pronounce the guy's name. The guy was amazing. It was a black
Oh, I know you're
dude.
talking about. I did see it.
The guy was amazing, but he was too big for Manny. He was like a 147-pound dude, and an old Manny Pacquiao should not be fighting 147 pounds. I
Yeah,
don't think that's what I saw. It was just too much for Manny.
yeah. I remember seeing the video on Instagram of his wife feeding him because both his eyes
Yes,
were closed. I'm like, damn, he did that to
yes,
Manny.
yes. Do you have one of those? Do you have a wife?
No, no, I got a lady though. I ain't got no wife.
Oh, congratulations! And how long have you been with her?
For a while, for a good while.
Does a fighter does it help to have a strong, good woman, or is it just complicated? Is it just make it crazier?
Um, it all depends, on that situation or that relationship, because I mean, sometimes they can be supportive, other times they can be highly annoying. It just depends on the communication between you and your partner, and the trials and tribulations, because everybody mess up here and there, and me being away from home for so long can make things, but for the most part, everything's cool. So I mean, I don't really see any cons of it.
When I dug through your Instagram pretty thoroughly, it's before we go back to the ladies, the main lady in your life, your mom, your mom got younger.
Ha ha. Right.
Your mom, when there's pictures of you as a little boy and you're hugging on your mom, she looks like your mom. And now when you take pictures of her, she could be your kid sister. Do you see
Yeah.
that? It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy, right?
I remember one time we went to a fish market and it was me and her, and it was all these dudes just staring at her. And I was like, all right, cool. And when we went to go we went to go purchase some fish, and the clerk, she was like, does your husband want anything? She's like, husband? She's like, this is my son. You should have seen all the dudes in that store, eyes light up. They're like, oh, that's his son. That's her son. I'm like, come on, y'all. This is weird. So we left, but I get that. We get that a lot.
I was at a coffee shop. I'm in California, and I was in a coffee shop, and I was with I have three little boys, two 4-year-olds and a 6-year-old, and I'm sitting outside at the coffee shop with my mom, and I got a bunch of gray, but
Yeah.
my top's not gray. My top's still black, and we're sitting outside, and this buff dude and this buff chick, super hot, with their little kid, come walking up, and they look young. They look like they're your age. And they go, "Oh my God, how sweet. The grandparents are out with the grandkids." And my mom starts laughing. And I go, "Mom, that's not funny." And she goes, Yeah, it's cute." And I'm like, "No, that means they think we're sleeping together." And my mom's like, "What?" I'm like, "Nah, it's not cool, Mom. It's not cool." Plus, I don't want, it's pretty crazy when I grow this beard out that everyone thinks I'm the granddad.
Yeah, I think it's because of the gray, but it looks nice, bro.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Um, I was talking to Jack De La Maddalena yesterday. You know who that is? He was on the Contender Series with Mo Miller, 171-pound dude. Anyway, he's out of Australia.
Okay.
Out of Australia. Ironically, he has the same record as you, 11-2.
Okay.
He lost. Sorry, 10-2. You're 11-2. He lost his first two fights, and then him and his trainer got together, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna win the next 10," and they did
Mm-hmm.
it.
No, damn. I mean, if they made that the goal and actually accomplished it, that's a huge accomplishment.
That's nuts, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Do like 10 straight.
Absolutely nuts. When was your first loss? By the way, your first amateur fight was insane.
Oh, yeah, the 30 seconds. Yeah, that's when I knew this was the right career path for me.
When you won that fight?
Yeah, yeah, because there was a lot of things going into it, such as transitioning from high school wrestling into doing now punching and kicking, and then 6 months later, I turned 18. I think it was like December something, December maybe 11th or 21st, one of those, and one side, I remember being nervous and finally getting into that cage and just remembering like the cage locking, watching, seeing the people eyes on me, and seeing my opponent just pacing back and forth, and I'm just like, dang, well, I'm here now. I might as well do what I was trained to do, and to just lock in the way I did and get the win in 30 seconds. Didn't even know I could knock people out. I was just fighting, and I was like, I like this feel. I like this rush, and let's say about 10 years later, this is where I am now.
You had been a high school wrestler and you only had 6 months of MMA training before your first amateur fight.
Yeah, I was good at wrestling though. I I think I was ranked in states or nations, one or two. I gotta find the paper. But no, yeah, man, wrestling was my first love. Like wrestling was that's all I did. Everybody, when I didn't win or go to states, everybody in my school, because I didn't want to go to school for a couple of days because I was sad and depressed. Everybody thought I committed suicide. That's how much like everybody in school knew wrestling is all I did. You either caught me in the wrestling room or in the weight room. Yeah, other than that, that's all I did. That's why I kept my grades up, because of wrestling.
That when the guy's on the ground, that last punch you throw at him, it's a left. He's on his back and you're on top of him, and his head like bounces like a pinball. It's a crazy punch.
Yeah, I remember seeing. Like I said, I didn't know that I could knock people out. So when I was hitting them, remember the first time I hit him, everything slowed down, and I just hear the referee like stop. But again, I'm in my mode, and I hit him again, and his eyes roll back, and all of this is happening like super fast, but in my head is super slow, and I'm just like, man, why is his eyes like that? And then I hit him again, and the referee grabbed me off. I'm like, oh, okay, now I know that's what happens.
Yeah, nuts. And then basically and then you have an insane celebration. You basically it's just all that I guess adrenaline and energy just dumping off of you, right? Like kind of like one of those steam pots when you're done cooking,
Yeah,
like you release the steam on it. I mean, you just kind of explode.
yeah. I mean, like it's a crazy sport, and when you get a win like that, and you hearing the crowd screaming, yelling, people that you don't even know you screaming your name, like I see you, I see you. So that just do nothing but amp you more up, and your team is screaming behind you, happy. So it's a lot of emotions that go with it.
You were born in Cleveland,
Yeah,
and how many brothers and sisters?
on my mom's side, I got two brothers, two sisters. On my dad's side, I got an older brother and an older sister.
So six total.
Yes.
And where are you in the pack?
I'm like, I'm the oldest on my mom's side and the second youngest on my dad's side. So I'm like
Okay,
a weird middle.
right. And born in Cleveland and never left.
Nope. Left and like, instead, like moved somewhere else and stayed there.
Yeah.
You could say I moved. It was a point of time I lived in Colorado for like 6 months straight. Because fights kept falling through, and I was like taking the opportunity to just train in like such a like high profile gym. So I've been out here, so like I said, since like 2018. So this is basically my second home.
Where do you stay when you go there?
Man, trials and tribulations, bro. When I first came out here, I was staying with some people. That was like a fighter house, and
Yeah.
then from there, they had a situation going on. So then I moved with a teammate. The next time I came out, then I went to another teammate when I was out here, and uh, then I got my own apartment, and then I got another one, and then I got this one. So it took a while, but I took those steps, and now I'm by myself.
Okay, so it's not like the gym just has like a hotel next to it that they own and they're like, "Hey, that room's yours."
Yeah, nah. It was kind of like that with the first people, but I guess the kids start coming back home and they needed the space.
So you're born in Cleveland and you're the oldest brother and when did you get into wrestling?
When I was 14, me and my older brother, we used to watch Pride a lot, and we
Uh-huh.
used to spar in the basement all the times. And I remember we were talking about because he went to Euclid High and I went to Bedford, and he's like, I think he was like 2 years ahead of me, and he was like, "Oh, you wrestle." You can go against our schools and collide, and we can like, I beat his teammates when we finally had that special moment. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I wrestled from freshman all the way to senior.
And did your mom make you do that? How did you have the discipline to do that? Wrestling's hard in high school.
It's hard, yeah. Especially, I feel like my school had a specific um, old school mentality where it's like the older generation really screwed up the younger generation. So they had not in a bad way, but they just really had them like old school like principles, like hard work. If somebody's slacking, they won't beat up on a guy, but they make an example of them like, hey, we here to work hard, we're not here to play. And I was just the last person to like get a taste of that. So, when you got people who are consistently pushing you and pushing themselves, and you get you for the first time in your life, you get that brotherhood, that brotherly love in a lot of ways. um and it's like fighting. Basically, it was fighting without getting in trouble. It was a lot of times I wanted to go in people's mouths in school, but I let them slide and just be like, I got wrestling later, I got a wrestling meet this Saturday, I got a wrestling meet this Friday. We got sectionals this weekend. Let me woo-sah and just take it out on that. So I feel like that was just a really good a good way for me to release, that like aggression.
You were a freshman?
Yeah.
And so you're at school and you and your brother fool around in the basement with some fighting. And then so one day you're just like, okay, I'm gonna sign up for wrestling practice. Did you used to walk to school and walk home? Were you latchkey kid? You get home, no one's there, let yourself in the apartment, that whole deal?
No, so at that time I lived in Bedford. We had what's the houses that go like the vertical way?
Brownstones?
No,
Like the
no, no.
ones in New
Like
York?
one person on this side of the house and one person on this side.
Townhouses?
Is that a townhouse? Okay, yeah,
Maybe, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know if it's a dude or townhouse, whatever. But one of those types of houses. Um, for the most part that I can remember, did I have to walk to school? No, my mom gave me rides, but after school, sometimes I did have to walk home, and that wasn't always fun. Especially Ohio winters are
Yeah.
brutal, and I just got done doing a. It was supposed to be 2 hours, but for whatever reason, the coach felt like we were slacking, so it was 3 hours. We didn't eat properly. We weren't taught how to diet well. It was just starve yourself. After practice, you get one meal before you go to bed. That's how they used to teach us how to like lose weight. You either
Uh-huh.
get a sandwich or some cereal. You can't eat both. And that right there, that's mental discipline. Maybe not been the right way, but still it builds some type of character when it came to that.
So it was all self motivated. Your mom wasn't like, "Hey, you have to do sports." It was just like, "Hey, I'm going to do wrestling." You went in your freshman year. How much did you weigh your freshman year?
125 pounds.
And that's what you wrestled in meets?
Yep. So my freshman year I was 125, and for I say my from freshman going into my sophomore year, that summer, that whole summer, I did nothing but wake up in the morning. I would make a huge breakfast and work out for like 2 hours. I would do 500 push-ups. Make sure I do 500 push-ups and 500 sit-ups a day. And the next year, when I was a sophomore, I was 160.
Holy cow.
Yeah, yeah, I was lifting.
How are you so motivated, Devonte? Like why weren't you out like doing what I did, throwing rocks at cars, chasing girls, going to the arcade, like
Uh,
how are you like I didn't do 500 push-ups my entire high school career.
oh
You know
man,
what I mean?
yeah,
And you're doing 500 a day.
just to do it. Reason why I ain't throw rocks at windows and stuff because my mom used to beat me. Not in a bad way. Like maybe let me use a better term. My mom used to whoop me. My dad used to whoop me. So it's like, nah, I know right from wrong. Girls, they were weird in high school. They really wasn't with me like that.
Yeah, they weren't with me either. I just
Yeah,
did a
they
lot of
did.
chasing.
But I will take some of the blame because I didn't have much talking points other than wrestling and lifting weights. Like I actually didn't know how to talk without bringing up wrestling. And what was the third one?
Just doing any like I'm just curious how you were so disciplined, and I think you got to it. Basically, you're saying your parents, you had a strict home.
In a sense, and then plus, I mean, there's a lot of things my parents raised me to do, and the way that they taught me to think, or the way common sense. The kids in high school, I understand. It's a growing period. So everybody listening to the rappers and singers or, following the crowd, that really wasn't my thing. Not because I was trying to be different. It just didn't feel right. I'd rather go watch anime and lift weights and y'all rather go chase girls. That's cool. Like, I mean, no judgment, but my thing was my thing, I mean, look where I'm at now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Did you ever think you would be a professional athlete?
I mean, yeah, no, yeah, because deja vu, bro. Wow,
Good.
like this, yeah,
That's
like
good.
this whole thing.
Good.
Um, yeah, no, because um, like I said, I wanted to be in the UFC. I remember I told everybody I wanted to be in the UFC since I was 14.
Wow.
Um, so I knew I was gonna do it, but to actually do it and be a professional athlete and actually be really good at what I do, it's like, oh wow, okay, cool, I did it. I mean, I still got ways to go, for my personal reasons, but I did it.
Are you is there something you're trying to prove? Is there any like dark pathology, or is there like something like someone like when you were 10 someone called you stupid, or there was some kid push you down the stairs when you were 13 and you're like that of that you're kind of like circling like I have a chip on my shoulder, I'm going to prove this to the fucking world?
It could be. I was actually bullied. Was it? It was in first, yeah, first grade. It was like kindergarten, first grade. I was like actually bullied. Not like the not saying it's not bad, but the internet bully, the cyberbullying wasn't that. I'm
Yeah.
like in the bathroom getting jumped and beat up, and then the teachers not believing me. I used to have a bully named Randy. Always remember his name because one
Yeah.
day I'm gonna see Randy again. But I've always been told that I wasn't able to do certain things. Basically, I feel like it's because of my character. Very, very like ha ha he, very friendly, go lucky guy, and a lot of people took that kindness as a weakness. Even my wrestling coach, he took that kindness as a weakness. But even my first MMA coach, that he didn't believe in me. I mean, shit, I might as well say it. You ever seen that? I forgot what it's called. You ever heard of a man named Bill Duff? There used to be like a martial art show where him and this other character used to like go around the world learning like martial arts.
I don't, but I'm going to look it up as soon as we get
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Look up Bill Duff. But so he was my first MMA coach. He was cool, but I remember it was me and a former teammate of mine, well, two former teammates of mine, and we were getting to a point where the gym where we were at, they really weren't taking us to where we needed to be. They were kind of like a cardio kickboxing boxing place, but they had cage fighting, and we were like the good ones. And I remember when we like went up to him to discuss about, hey, we thinking about going to another gym. No hard feelings. It's just we don't have the type of work here. They had us sparring old ladies where we couldn't fight back. We had to learn how to just move our head real fast while they like swung on us. And
Right.
so yeah, they helped us with our head movement. And
Yeah.
I remember he talking to the one guy. He was talking about the one dude. He was like, hey, I'm weird with names, but okay, well, he was like, dude, hey, he was like, you're a really good boxer, fast, you got a lot of knockouts. Yeah, I understand why you can't be here and this and that, do number letter B, whatever, do B, you have really good wrestling, really good technique, and you're gonna make it far and this and that. So I'm just waiting for my turn,
Yeah.
since he
Yeah.
giving, and he just looked at me and he just, kept moving like, whoa, what about me? He was like, well, you just trying to kill people. So, and I'm just like, what? I kind of thought that was and no hard feelings to them, but they not in the UFC. They not doing what I'm doing. And that's just a very small glimpse of what a lot of people have done. And I remember a point in time I felt like I had to prove something to them just to like really rub it in their face. But I'm at a point now that it's like I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. You hold no power over me. I'm here to do what I know I can do. When people say, what makes you do this, what makes you feel this way is because I know I can. Like I know I
Mm.
can do it. Like I just know I can. So why not do it?
Yeah, that's how I feel about podcasts.
Mm. See?
Someone the other day made a comment in the comments, and they're like, "Man, you have the worst memory for a guy who interviews people for a living." I'm like, "I don't interview people for a living. I interview people because I can.
See?
It's not my fucking job. I'm not interviewing Devonte Smith because someone's telling me to. It's because I
Hmm.
fucking want to interview Devonte Smith.
Yes. See? We're on the same
It's
page.
I'm doing what I want to do. Yeah, it's a trip, right? And when people say shit like that too, I start to think, oh my god, is their life like that? do they not
Mhm.
do what they want to do, and so they can't imagine us doing what we want to do?
Yes, they follow the trends, and one of the trends is wake up, go to work, and make somebody else richer. And that just didn't sit right before me. I worked at a job that they would call a career, Nestle Stouffer's.
Yep.
And every day I just be like, I was saying, like, I do not like, I know the boss still has to do some work, but I know he gets to wake up whenever he wants to.
Right.
Yeah, he has to go to a meeting, but after that meeting, he gets to go do whatever he wants to do. And I didn't like sitting here on this line sprinkling cheese and some guy in a white coat with his hands behind his back looking at me, telling me, you're putting too much cheese on that. You're losing us money. I ain't losing us money. I'm still getting paid what y'all say y'all gonna pay me. So I ain't like that. I ain't like that feel.
I think I have nothing nice to say about Nestle's or Stover's or anyone who's selling garbage food and spreading type 2 diabetes to the public.
Hey, yeah.
I ain't got nothing nice to say about those guys. So at 14, so like I watched the UFC pretty religiously. I try to watch as much MMA as I can. I spend probably shit, I don't know, they got the 3 hours every Saturday of UFC
Mhm.
on, and then when I'm riding the assault bike or something, I put on the TV and I watch all the gossip, like those little 10-minute gossip videos on YouTube, like
Mhm.
today Conor McGregor fell down the stairs, or today
Yeah.
Devonte was seen buying a new necklace, or just whatever the shit they say.
Yeah.
And um, where was I going with that? I here, I would never I never would want to go in there. And
In the
at
cage?
14, no, fuck no. I would I can't have someone punch me, like be chasing me around, trying to punch me in the face, get around my neck, and put me to sleep.
Yeah.
And at 14, like you want to do that. Do you like as a part of you, like do you have that? Are fighters like, hey, I don't want to do that too, so that's why you guys do it? You guys are facing your fears. Like I'm like, well, that's scary. I'm not going over there. And you're
Uh,
like, well, that's scary. I'm going to go over there and check that shit out.
I feel like my life has brought me to this point. I feel like I could do anything I put my mind to, but I've always been in fights. You know, I was the just being straightforward. That's the
Yes,
best.
please.
Yeah, yeah. I was the small, dark skinned kid, and my mom said I used to have clown feet, and it took a while for my body to grow to my feet.
What
So I
size?
used
What
to,
size? What size shoe?
right now I'm a 11 and a half to 12.
Oh,
But
oh,
when you seen how my body looked when I was like 5 or 6
yeah.
compared to 28, it's
Right.
like, yeah.
Right.
So I used to get into a lot of fights. Like I said, I was bullied. And the school that I went to at that particular moment, I think it was like K through 6 or something like that. And I was in kindergarten getting beat up by like third, fourth, fifth, sixth graders.
Yep.
And I used to get in fights in the streets. I used to get I used to get in fights in middle school. I used to get in so many fights that when I went to ninth grade, my mom before I went to school, my mom was like, "Hey, you cannot be fighting these people. They will take you to jail, juvenile, one of the two." And when I wasn't fighting people, they started picking on me. I remember I go come home like I'm trying, and it ain't working. And it got to a point my mom was like, "Go ahead, Vontae." And the next day, when I tell you I had a smile on my face, I was ready. So I feel like it's just a natural thing. Like, yeah, it's still scary. I mean, you going in there to fight another man that's been training, that has his own, problems and traumas and things that he's fighting through, and his own thing. He has his own goals, and I'm pretty sure he wants to win just like you. But that's what makes it fun. Like MMA is like you get to create your own style. Like, yeah, you have the bases like boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, kickboxing, Muay Thai, karate, all those things, but you have your own unique flavor, depending on your body, and what you like to do and what you've been through that brought you here.
Can you remember the last time you were in a street fight? Or are those days just long, long behind you?
The last time I got to a street fight, so okay, so we were down. It was me and my people. It was down in Akron, in Akron, Ohio. I forgot what this plaza called, but it was a lot of like college kids and people go to, for bars, hookah, and all that cool stuff. And I didn't know my one dude when he get drunk, he fuck with people. I ain't know that. I just know if you a part of my team, swing first, ask questions last.
Uh-huh.
But so what happened was we was having fun and we all walking back to the car. It's like six of us. I don't like going out if you can't fight, and if yeah, you can't. It got to be at least minimum five people, and you got to be able to fight. Not because I want to start stuff, but just in case something happened, you're not the scary guy running down the street when we need help.
Right.
So we was walking in the parking lot, going back to the car, and I remember my dude Marlon, he was like backing up. It was weird the way he was backing up. And I'm seeing three dudes walking up on him with their fist ball. Now, before I did anything, I looked around at my people like, y'all don't see what's going on. And everybody just, in la la land. So, one of the big dudes that was like trying to swing on my dude, I just came up from behind him and I just started going. And they my dude, my dude Jarrell, he grabbed me like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" They was just playing, and I'm like, "We don't play like that. I don't know you. That's not what we do." Comes to find out, no, they were actually trying to jump him, and then chaos broke loose. People were starting to get slept because then more of my people start coming out, and then I'm just watching like people get kicked in the chest. One guy tried to like stop it. I ain't gonna name nobody, but one of my people came up from behind him, hit him, slept him. People was getting like drop kick because these are all MMA fighters, so they hitting people with like special moves, and I'm like, we
They
can't be.
were all MMA fighters?
Oh yeah. That's a you can't. I can't be with you if you can't handle yourself, But now I know it got
Oh
it got
god.
it got so bad that anytime I went out with him, I'll be like him and his brother. They were notorious for like getting drunk and fighting. I like start the day. We be pre gaming and we be in like a hotel chilling. I'm like, hey, if you get in a fight, if you get in a fight, I'm walking away. I'm not helping you. And they'll be thinking I'll be playing, and they'll laugh like, oh, stop. I'm like, no, for real, because y'all just be starting stuff. We went out. I seen them about to start some stuff, and I was just sitting back watching. And as soon as they stood up to walk over there, I went the other way. I was like, I'm not playing with y'all.
Yeah,
Y'all
you
doing
gave him the heads up. You get
yeah.
And how old were you?
Probably like 18, 19.
Okay. So that shit does not happen to you anymore.
I stay out the way. People shoot people now. I'm cool.
Yeah. I heard an interview from Daniel Rodriguez. He's one of the welterweights in the UFC. And he basically said this in an interview. He said he used to fight a lot as a kid. He said he's probably been in over 200 street fights. And the reason why the UFC is so much better is because when you're done fighting, and I bet you can relate to this, you don't have to worry about then someone stabbing you or shooting you, or like you win the fight, you lose the fight, it's over. There's a ref in there, there's a doctor in there, it's over. He said once you do street fighting, he's like, you never know if they're gonna come to your house afterwards.
Uh-huh.
You don't know if you have to fight them tomorrow. He
Uh-huh.
says it's fucking just it's chaos. And I was like, wow, I never thought of that. Um, I probably haven't been in a fight since the sixth grade. I've probably been in 5 fights my whole life. So
They
it's like,
started.
so it's yeah, it's interesting. It's all relative, right?
No, yeah,
If you're fighting a shitload growing up, then the UFC probably doesn't seem that crazy. But if you're like
yeah.
someone like me, the UFC seems completely insane.
Especially when you see somebody get kicked in the face and then they like, freeze up. It's like, oh yeah, I don't want that to happen to me.
Are you gonna have kids?
Yeah, yeah. I'm waiting though. I'm waiting because I basically got them. I mean, I don't have any that came from me, but
Right.
I basically have kids. So I'm waiting, because I want to make sure that. I mean, I know you'll never be ready, but I want to make sure I'm financially like
Yes.
stable,
Yes.
emotionally, mentally stable. But I'm getting practice with my baby brother, my nephew, and my niece.
Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
I am. I'm getting a lot of practice with them.
I didn't have kids till I was 43. I was with my girl for 20 years,
Okay.
and we were never going to get married and never had kids. Like we had the talk. We're like, that's just we're not just that's just what everyone else does, right?
Yeah.
We're not doing that. And then when she was 39 and I was 43, she's like, hey, I want one. And by then, though, like you, like I grinded in my 30s
Mm.
and my 20s.
Mm.
And I saved I saved every like you. I just worked. There was no time to spend money. I just put my head
Yeah.
down and worked, saved all my money, and so it's great. And now I'm 43, and I do podcasts in the morning, then I hang out with my kids all day, take them to jiu-jitsu, tennis,
Mm.
swimming, just all that shit,
See,
right?
and
Yeah,
you seem pretty healthy. And that's
yeah.
one
I
of the
just
things.
I just work out every day. That's
Right.
it.
People be
Simple
like, "Oh, I
shit.
don't want
Yeah,
to be 40 and old, and my kids are 10." I'm like, I've seen a lot of men in their older ages still like you got to just work out. Go work out, kid.
yeah. I don't drink Coke. I don't eat cookies. I just eat fucking meat and vegetables and drive my kids around and chill.
That sounds nice.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. Life's good. But I worked my ass off in my 20s and 30s, like you
Mhm.
said, like you're doing. And I really liked kids and I had kids in my life, but like I just never thought I was gonna have my own kids. But then as soon as I did, I was like, okay, this is for me.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's something to look forward to.
tell me about do you have a manager?
Yeah.
And who's your manager?
Jason House from Iridium.
Oh, I've been trying to get him on the show too.
He's
Uh
a guy.
he's a busy man.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
busy man. He's good in the DMs. He always responds, but I got to get him scheduled to come on. I'm so interested to hear his story, how he got into the game. And
Mm.
does he represent more MMA fighters than any other manager in the business?
I think so. I don't know if he do, but I think so because he be having everybody on the roster.
Yeah. And is it because he's a good businessman or is it because he's a cool dude?
I say both. He's a really good dude. He's really cool. He's both. He's a really cool dude. Really nice. He'll be straightforward with you. Shoot, he got me in the on a contender series of thing fight. And that was the first thing he did for me. You know, he actually was and once you get him on here, he'll tell you himself. He was actually like basically hunting me for a whole year and some change. I had like really bad managing experiences. So when he came my way, I really wasn't trying to hear him. But he had hit me up every blue moon. It was like I thought it was weird, but it hit me up every blue moon, like just checking up on me. And I remember when we had a conversation about a certain situation, and he was just basically telling me, like, bro, man, I'm not telling you that everything's gonna be perfect, but I'm letting you know that I will work. Like, just give me the ball, bro. Just give me the ball, and like let me do my thing. And the first thing he did was get me on the contender series. And since then, we just
What is it? What's it look like to have a bad manager if you're a fighter?
oh man, yeah, okay, all right. So when they say, I mean, shit happens, but when they say they're gonna do something and don't do it, don't like after the second time, or maybe the third, but after the second time, man, they BSing you. They'll tell you they'll basically make you do all the work. And then they still want a percentage in the sense of you got to go get the sponsors, you got to do this, you got to do that, and then I remember that happened one time. I'm like, ain't you supposed to be doing this? And they LOL. No. I'm like, then what are you doing? Like, what do I have you for? They will lie to you. And if they bring up a lot of numbers, like if they don't answer the question you ask them and they say tell you all this good stuff instead of like, when am I fighting? And then they say, oh yeah, the UFC and then this guy and then this is happening, and you just like, well, I just needed a simple question. I mean, simple answer. They BSing. Uh, uh,
Almost like you feel like you start to feel like you're being hustled.
yes. If you feel like I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna just say it. If you feel like you being hustled, you probably are. I'm not telling people to be overly paranoid, but it's a business, and they will say anything just to keep you on. I remember my last manager when I got to the point of like I ain't fucking with you no more, bro, because you ain't really for me. And I ain't saying this disrespectfully, but basically this ain't a match. And he would try to hold me on, talking about like, oh, the UFC, man, we're gonna, I was getting some calls from the Contender Series, and and then when I left them, when I left, maybe 2-3 days later, he texted me like, "Oh, the UFC just hit me up looking for a lightweight, but I guess you're not with us anymore. So have a nice life." Like,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. So for somebody who's struggling and want to be in the UFC, and they keep dangling the UFC in front of you, and you don't know how else to get into the UFC, because I was knocking everybody out. I went to a whole nother state and knocked out their number one guy, and I still wasn't getting any calls. And oh man, I had very bad experiences with managers.
It's interesting you say that. It's funny how people react, right? That's always the telltale sign. How someone reacts when they don't get what they want. So
Mhm.
let's say you ask a girl out and she says no, and you said okay, and then there's two ways you can act, right? You can be like, okay, I'm gonna up my game. I'm going to work out a little more. I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy her some flowers. Or you could be like, fuck you, bitch. You don't deserve me. And it's like, well, you just kind of just proved your point, right?
Right.
Like she made the right call. You're a fucking quitter, a bitch, and a
Yeah.
complainer. Like
Yeah.
and like why would she want to be with you? Instead
Exactly.
of being like, okay, I'm going back to the drawing board.
Yes.
Next time I ask her out, I'm gonna sing a song and have a guitar or some shit. Like,
Yes.
yeah, up your game.
With fireworks in the background.
Yeah, you're a crybaby and a quitter. Yeah, yeah. So I totally hear you. So the second you say, hey, I'm gonna move on, it's like, well, I got the UFC and on the call, but I guess you don't want. It's just baby shit.
Yeah.
It's not big boy shit.
No. At
No.
all.
Um, I'm not really into the. I can't even believe I'm going to bring this up. I'm not. I don't really do too much of the sex thing or the race thing or
Mm.
any of that shit. It kind of annoys the fuck out of me. I think it's the root of most of the victim mindset. Not that that shit doesn't happen, but I have this question for you: Are
Okay.
there any female managers? I've never in the fight game.
That was one of my bad experiences. She was my first
Oh,
manager.
you did. So you did have a female manager because I
Yeah.
because I haven't seen one. Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. She was
And
I'm not,
and I am sexist as shit because obviously I never think of women as being hustlers. I always think of
oh,
women being nicer than men, better than men.
nah.
They-
She was very, I don't want to say manipulative, but she was the first case that I remember. Okay, so I'm from Cleveland, right? And Pittsburgh, depending on where.
my mom's from Cleveland, by the way.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
You ever been?
Maybe when I was a kid. Maybe when I was a kid. My
Oh,
grandmother was there when she passed away. I think that was the last time I was
I'm
there.
gonna say you should go with summertime. Wintertime is just super cold.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been to Cleveland since then. When because I used to work for CrossFit and we did some business trips there. Yeah.
oh, did you
And I
like
was
it?
there in the winter. I was there in the winter. Yeah, I did like it. I mean, I enjoyed the restaurants. I enjoyed hanging out like in that big square. I stayed at
Yeah,
the Ritz Carlton there. It was nice, but it was fucking cold.
it's that frigid cold. That's
Yeah,
like,
and I'm weak California shit.
yeah, your skin was hurting. I know it was. Uh, she had me. But
Okay.
she had me like drive down. Pittsburgh is like 2-3 hours away from Cleveland, right?
Uh huh.
And she had me drive down to Pittsburgh for this like arm wrestling tournament to
Uh
like
huh.
introduce me to like the alcohol vendors, like Budweiser and Coors. I don't drink beer, so if they're the same brand, I'm sorry, Heineken, just all these alcohol vendors. So I drove 2-3 hours to this arm wrestling contest. I partook in like one, just to fuck around and shit. And I remember I like knock on. She was in the back, and I knock on the door like, "Hey, when you gonna introduce me to the people?" And she just got a wad of cash, just count. They're not here yet. I'll let you know. All right, cool. Go back to mingling, talking to people. Come back 30 minutes to an hour. Like, hey, so like, when you gonna introduce me? Oh, yeah, give me a second. I gotta do this, and then we'll do that. I was like, all right, cool. I did that like 3, 4, 5 times, and because I was trying not to get mad, and I was trying not to because this is my first time dealing with this, so I'm trying to see it to the end. And I forgot what happened, whether they left or something happened to the point that I'm like, yeah, I'm about to just drive all the way back home. So I basically came out here to take pictures with people that not gonna remember me, because I wasn't in the UFC, so they have no reason to remember me. Uh, I remember we started taking pictures. She had me do this photo shoot. She had me, look, one of the pictures was I got my underwear on, right? But I got the belt covering up, like basically like I look like I'm naked. And I didn't know why I was doing it, but I was like, well, my manager said we doing this for like whatever. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll go with it. And that shit, it did nothing. It didn't grow into anything. I feel like she just got like she can put it on OnlyFans now, probably get a couple of dollars from it. But yeah, she was real bad. Then I learned from her sister that she's never managed anybody. She will always send me pictures of her with Stipe, like little things like that. Like, I've seen Stipe, his gym is like 5 minutes away from my house. I've seen Stipe plenty of times. But she'll be like at an Indians game with him, and she'll just like do like show a little picture that she's with him. And me being new, I seen it as okay, she connected, she in
She
there.
got clout. Yep.
Yeah, and she'd always tell me. I remember talking to her about shit. I mean, I used to drink back then, not heavily, but I used to just drink. It wasn't my thing. But since I did partake in some of the activities, I'm like, whatever. Let's get some Hennessy. A Hennessy sponsor. And I remember she would always tell me that she's about to go talk to Hennessy. She about to be wearing her pencil tight dress to go talk to the folk. And I'm like, all right, cool. Never grew into anything. I forgot how we even stopped talking. I think I just like I'm done. So yeah, no, yeah, male and female, it don't matter because if they on some trash, they on some trash.
Yeah. So you said Stipe's gym's 5 minutes from you,
Yeah,
and that's where Mo trains, also, right?
yeah, yep.
I've had Mo on the show a few times. What did you think about Mo's performance on the Contender Series?
I felt like he did a great job, man. Like
Me too.
it threw me off when they didn't give him that contract. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the only thing I don't know, man. Truthfully, because the dude was catching Mo with some leg kicks, but I mean, Mo was catching him with the boxing. He was the aggressor. He took him down plenty of
He,
times. It wasn't
he
that he
won every
on
round.
every round.
Yeah.
He held. You see the one when he held the dude's hand and kept hitting him, and it was
Yeah.
actually like I'm like so to be dominant like that, and even though he looked fatigued in the third round, he still did his job.
Yeah.
He went out there to win, and yeah, he didn't slam dude on his head 5 times or get the knockout, but his technique, his will to win, I feel like that should have showed like give him another shot in the UFC, and he'll be there. But it is what it is. But he's on a route to get into the UFC.
That's for sure. How did you meet Mo? How did you guys meet? If you guys are at separate gyms, how do you guys run into each other? Same manager?
No. I've known Mo for a while actually. Like before
Because he had a
UFC.
cameo. He had a cameo in your on your YouTube station on episode 4 too. I noticed.
I'm gonna look at you, man. You out here looking at the traveling circus. I'm okay.
Oh, I watched them. Yeah, I watched them all yesterday. I got on the assault bike, put on my headphones, and
Cool.
and
I appreciate that.
and
What you
broke
what you
my
think
sweat.
about it?
I liked it. You want to know? So I've made a lot of movies. I've directed 10 movies. I got 4 movies in the top 10 on all time on iTunes for documentaries. I've been around a lot of movie making. Um, if you want to just change the whole game, you got to get a wireless mic. The guy who's filming, you have to put a wireless mic on the guy because
Okay.
half the stuff I can't understand.
Okay, and
And
I
th-
appreciate the feedback. I
and
need it.
and there's some great tidbits in there. You're training with some really smart guys, and there's some great exchanges in there. But like, I just can't hear it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, what did they say? And then I rewind it, and like, there's too much like fan noise. But if
Okay.
you just get you can get a cheap wireless mic that's high quality, like $200,
Okay.
and I can send you a link to it afterwards. And then you just plug
Yes.
one end
Hey.
of the camera, and the other end, you just whoever's talking, you just clip that shit on them.
Okay. Cool. Cool. It's
But I
it's
liked
gonna be
it.
kind of hard when people like fighting and sparring and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
I
I
hear
do
you.
appreciate that.
But I enjoyed it. I watched all 4 episodes. I flew through them quick.
Cool. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
and it's good people, and I was excited to see Mo. So sorry, so I interrupted. So tell me, you've known Mo a long time?
Yeah, I've known him for a while, like before the UFC. See him actually get
How do
here.
you guys meet? How do you guys meet? How do you
That's
know
the
him?
crazy thing. I'm gonna have to ask him because I kind of forgot. You know,
But different gyms. You're at different camps.
yeah. He was
Okay.
strong style. I was evolve, and
Okay.
then I left evolve, and then I was a lone fighter for like a year and some change. So I was just doing my own thing, no gym. I just be going from Cleveland to Pittsburgh. I be gym hopping. Anywhere that there was work, that's where I would go. And I remember he was just that guy that'd still be fighting too and be good doing good and we'll talk, we be vibing well. And again, just to see him getting this far and doing as well as he's doing, I'm like, wow, good job, bro. Keep doing your
He
thing.
and he's cool as shit. He's mellow. He's like you.
Yeah,
He's got his head on straight, right? Like he knows where he's going.
yeah, most definitely.
Like he's focused. Are you a jiu-jitsu practitioner? Like do you have a gi and a belt and all that shit?
I technically got a gi in the belt. My jiu-jitsu coach back at home in Cleveland, he be wanting me to do gi.
Uh-huh.
The only reason I don't be wanting to do gi is because he just want to beat me. Okay, because in no gi I get to use my athletic ability and slide out.
Oh, yeah, I seen that guy in your Instagram. Older white dude with the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
neck
right.
like a fucking rhino.
Yep,
Yes. Yeah, he
yep,
looks like a savage.
yeah. So
He looks and then I went to his Instagram account, but he competes no gi.
yep. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
oh
And he's great at no gi. He's like holding up his no gi medals and shit.
yeah, Ray, he's something else, man. He's actually my strength and conditioning coach back at home too.
Okay.
So yeah, he'll work you. He will get you in shape. He's like one of them meatheads, but he got a lot of like good techniques. He's very understanding. If I'm hurt or not feeling well, he's like go home, take 3 days off. Like we have a really good relationship. But when I'm feeling good, get on the bike, rower, sprints, lift this up, throw it this way, move that way, climb. He sometimes I feel like he just be making shit up, man.
Just to get you to sweat.
Yes.
Devonte, you had a pretty crazy injury, at least what I think is a crazy injury. Achilles, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically the tendon on your ankle, that big thick thing, right?
Yes.
That goes to the bottom of your foot, to your heel.
Yeah.
And I read on your Instagram you described about when it did it snap just clean?
Uh, is snapping and rupturing the same thing?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the doctor said it ruptured. They said it ruptured all the way through. Uh, basically, I was sparring against my teammate Yusuf Zalal, and he threw a flying knee, and I went from like a orthodox stance to a southpaw stance. No, yeah, yeah. So yeah, orthodox. Then I stepped back into a southpaw stance, and from the flying knee, he switched it off to a head kick. And from this stance, I blocked the head kick. All the weight went into my ankle, and I felt pressure. Didn't understand why, but I was like, okay, pop. It felt like if your foot was dorsiflex, it felt like somebody just stumped on the back of my ankle because I was in so much pain, and I'm like trying to like bite my gloves off, like man, take these off so I can rub my leg. And I'm like just holding my foot, like who was behind me? Who was behind me? I keep looking behind me, and like Yusuf was like, nobody. What was wrong with you? I was like, well, I don't know. So like 5-10 minutes later, after the pain started going down, I'm like, all right, I think I'm cool. I think I was just one of those things that just like, damn, that hurt. Once I stood up, bro, it felt like my leg was a noodle, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel right. Like, obviously, I've never had a ruptured Achilles, but I just
Like
knew
like
that.
like it's just like you can't control the foot, like it's just
Nah,
dangling.
cause I stood. You seen that Gervonta Davis fight when he fought what was that one Cuban fighter that he ruptured his Achilles and he kept fighting?
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, we were on the same page. But basically,
Yeah,
I was able to stand on my foot. It just didn't feel right. And I
right.
remember like limping to the chair, and it was like, okay, I'll take you to ER. Took me to
By the
ER.
way, all the other Achilles snaps I've ever heard of before are exactly the same way. I've only ones I've ever heard of before. It's usually like someone running to second base or something
Yeah.
in baseball, and the person thinks that that a ball someone threw the ball and it hit them in the ankle. So they're
Yes.
like looking around, being like, who threw a ball at me? And so you're kind of describing the same thing, like who the fuck was behind me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
it was one guy that I knew. Somebody was behind me. I was staring at him like it was you. I think it was
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you. They took me to the hospital, man, and I was in a wheelchair. And the ladies, the doctors, they brought me to the back, and one of the I don't know if she was a nurse, the doctor, but I didn't know in order to check to see if your Achilles is still attached that you're supposed to squeeze the calf muscle.
Uh huh.
She didn't like 1, 2, 3. This is what I'm gonna do. She just grabbed my shit and squoze. When I tell you, I was so close to backhanding her, I had to pause myself because it was like it was just that immense pain, and you just want to react to it.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "What are
Yeah.
you doing?" She's like, "Oh, you got to do this to see." And I'm like, "Why you ain't?" She's like, "Yeah, it's ruptured." I was like, "Ah,
Oh.
no."
And how do you do you have a UFC contract at this point when that happens?
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
And are you just tripping? Are you like is that the lowest point in your career?
I've been lower. So it did suck. Um, it did.
It's worse than on prom night finding out like your tuxedo didn't show up and that you're
Yeah,
going in jeans. It's fucked up.
especially when you're just coming off of a loss, and like
Oh,
this is your fight back, and bills are piling up back at home, man. You got a lot of shit going on back at home, and you're living with people, and there's just a lot of things going on that's not right. And then this happens, and it's like I have to go home now, like with nothing, no trophies, no good job, no
did you
uh
have your girlfriend at the time?
yeah,
You did. Well, that's good.
yeah. But it still sucked to come home with nothing, you know?
Yeah, and your money maker's broken. You
Yes.
rely on your body.
Yes. And knowing that, basically I'm the breadwinner in the family and now I can't provide, that really did something to me. I mean, my family's very supportive. They helped me all the way through, but still just as a man and just being used to able to help and do make sure everything is cool and then having to like take a back seat, it just wasn't a good feeling at all.
And it was 17 months from the day you heard it to when you got your next fight?
Basically, they said that when I spoke to the doctor, he was like, it takes about a year, and then from there, that's just basically as strong as it's gonna get. But you want to take the full year. It was like because if it ruptures again, the second surgery isn't not it's not going to be as good as the first one. And I really took heed to the doctor's warning, and you know, even though people were like, oh, you could be back in 6 months, like, nah, 8 months went by. They're like, oh, you can come back, nah, 9 months, you can come back, nah, then 12. They're like, oh, you should be good, nah, then a year and 3 months, then a year and 6 months, and then I was like, okay, now it's time, I'll come back now.
I've never heard of anyone doing it, hurt, injuring it twice. Have you?
Uh, nope, but I didn't want to be the first guy, so
For sure, for sure. Smart. You sound smart. You sound smart as shit. And is it in your head at all?
no, I believe it's not because I took that time off. That time to like really let my body heal, really go with through the trials and tribulations of fucking up, being sore, taking it at my pace, not somebody else's pace that really don't know how I'm feeling. I took it very slow. I trained with people that knew what my situation was and wasn't trying to like, oh, it's the UFC fighter. Let me train really hard to prove something. I was very smart of who I trained with, how I trained, and how anybody felt. It was like, oh well, like you ain't going through this.
Um, we've only scratched the surface with Devonte, to be honest. He has a fight October 2nd. He's 11-2. You really don't want to miss him. I'm not saying that because he's on the show. I didn't choose him for any other reason except that he is extremely intelligent in the ring, and I don't know if he's going to take offense to this, but he's extremely violent. It is not a it looks very dangerous for his opponents when he's in the ring. He's like a fucking lawnmower. You do not want to be anywhere where he is approaching. October 2nd, UFC. You have to watch Devonte. Just like I told you, you should get on the Jack Della Mandalena bandwagon. You should definitely get on the Devonte Smith bandwagon. You should follow on Instagram. He's a fucking class act. He's extremely funny. I wanted to talk to him about his creativity and all this, but he has to go train right now. He told me he only had an hour for me, and I appreciate it. But I will bug Devonte after he whoops some ass on October 2nd.
I'll be here
We'll,
for it.
we'll all be cheering him on, and thanks, brother. I really appreciate you taking the time. I mean, I can't tell you how fun this is for me.
Sure. Thank you. I didn't even know it's that time yet, so it flew by.
Bam.
Good,
What?
yeah.
One last question, real quick. This will be super quick. When you were injured those 17 months, did you still sweat every day to take care of your mental health, or no?
Bro, that's the thing. That's all I could do, because I was literally in the bed the majority of the time until I was able to walk with a boot, and even
So
with
you
the
couldn't even
boots,
sweat. So you couldn't.
nope.
There was nothing you could. Oh my God, that must
Yeah,
have been driving you insane.
yep. I was smoking hella. I was reading books. I
Oh well,
was
that's
trying to
good.
do things. I got into stocks because I needed to do something. I had to work something because I'm a snap. Because I'm used to doing shit. And you know what a bob is?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a bob. I
Yes.
don't. I
Okay.
mostly just stare at it, but I got a bob.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I usually as a joke I put Bob by like the door and I'll call the kids in. As soon as they open the door, Bob's there. So it's funny. See their reaction. But once I was able to like slowly do things, that's how I was just working on Bob, bro.
Awesome, dude. Thank you for your time. I hope you have an amazing training day today.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. I really enjoyed it.
And